Well, 75% of backyard grillers say they cook on that thing all year round.
And of course, the Labor Day weekend is a big 3 days for cookouts.
And our own John Graham is live just a few yards from here. He has a Disney chef who has a few tips for perfecting that backyard wing ding this weekend. And John?
Yes.
What is that, hamburger meat?
This is hamburger. Now, this is just not any kind of hamburger. We're going to help you make the perfect hamburger patty for your cookout. This is Chef Darryl Mickler. Darryl, what kind of meat do I want to use? Because everybody's going talking low fat these days.
No, either ground chuck or ground sirloin, 80-20, or 15% fat, at the least. But usually 80-20 will give you a nice flavor. The burger will adhere together well. You want for something that's relatively coarse ground, unless you're grinding it yourself, of course.
Oh yeah, because lots of people do that.
Of course, everyone's going to do that.
Well, now whip that out of there and show me how to make a good hamburger. But how many hamburgers? How much meat is that? And how many hamburgers would you suggest making out of that?
Well, for me or for? I'll get about, this is right at a pound, I'll get about, 2 good-sized 8-ounce hamburgers out of it. The key is to, patty them out, not to overhandle the burger.
Now, you're wearing gloves. Should I wear gloves?
Well, we wear gloves in the kitchen. But, at home, a little cold water sprinkled on your hands will keep the burger from sticking, too much to your hands. About, half an inch to an inch thick.
Now, do I need to add anything? Salt, pepper, eggs, breadcrumbs, any of that stuff?
Not a thing. As long as you don't overhandle the burger, and when you put it on the grill, you're not moving it around too much and, beating it up. It's gonna hold together. You're gonna get some great flavors out of it. So you don't really need to add a whole lot of other items into it. On the grill, season it with either kosher salt or sea salt and some cracked black pepper, and you'll have a great product out of it.
Now, I've also heard that before. They said don't put the salt on until the end because you'll suck all the juice out. Is that true?
Well, on a burger, you're cooking it really fast. You're only looking about 4 or 5 minutes aside. So kosher salt, as opposed to iodized salt, will stay on top. It's not going to pull as much moisture out of it. If you put iodized salt, table salt on it, it's going to dissolve into the burger. You're going to lose a lot of the salt flavor out of it, and it is going to pull some juices out. But it's a pretty quick process to cooking the burger, so you're not really going to get a whole lot of drying out of it.
Now, is it time to throw that baby on the grill?
Throw it on the grill.
Okay, now you said the way to test earlier, if you weren't watching in the last half hour, Chef said if you can carefully, no, you tell me if this is right. He said if you can hold your hand about 5 inches away for about that long, that's about right.
And you're ready to go. So we've got a nice hot grill. We're going to pop those burgers on.
Now, what do you think about meat thermometers for hamburgers? Because people are worried about E. coli these days.
Well, you want to be careful. We use a meat thermometer with everything we cook at Ohana. They're always checking the temperatures on that. And bring the burger up to about 150 degrees, and that's plenty safe to kill any bacteria that's in there.
Now, in restaurants, I always see people, they take the big old, hang on, let me grab one of these here. Okay. They take the big old spatula and they just and smash the heck out of it. Is that because that gets good and crunchy, right? That's a good thing to do.
Well, you see the flames coming up, so you must be doing something right. No, not at all. What you want to do is put the burger on there, let it sit, and leave it alone. Good cooking is mostly patience. So you put the burger on there, about 4 to 5 minutes aside. Don't touch it unless the whole place is flaming up. All your grill's flaming up, and leave it alone. Let it cook.
Chef, in the next hour is going to be showing us a recipe for your white meats, your chicken, some different kinds of fish. And I need to say by the way, he is in charge of 2 restaurants out of Disney's Polynesian Grill. And he was nice enough to come out here, but these are not his tools. Melissa, you know whose tools these are, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Whose tools are these?
My husband's.
It's her husband. I had the grill. I didn't have the tools. So back to you guys. We'll see you in the next hour.
There's even a spiffy red toolbox sitting there by the grill that he...
What, in case there's a big burger disaster, I guess?
I don't know. It's very manly stuff. I try to stay out of it as much as possible. I just enjoy the fruits of all that grilling. I get to eat.
Very quickly, I think we have
Wednesday and Thursday temperatures around 92 to 93 degrees. And guys, that would be my question to John. Do you have to grill in the afternoon, or could it be like 11 o'clock? Because that's the best time to do it.
Why not?
We'll have to check our grilling Bible on that one.
Let's find out.
Yeah, let's talk to him. He has a really cool guy who knows his grill.
My advice to Doug would sometimes you have to suffer for your art. Sure, you can grill at 11 if you want. Heck, you can make yourself an omelet if you get yourself a nice cast iron pan and take it out on the grill. Would you agree, Chef Darryl Mickler?
Can do anything on the grill.
Anything on the grill. Darryl is in charge of an 18-foot grill out at the Polynesian Resort at Disney. He's helping us here today with a few Labor Day ideas. You said I do not need to be intimidated by sauces. You're going to help us make a little something for, like, say, white meats this time, right?
Right. We're going to start off with a nice little marinade that goes great with chicken and pork and turkey, anything like that you want to grill. And then we'll talk a little bit about sauces.
Sure. Talk me through this. What are we going to start with here? This recipe will be on fox35WOFL.com, by the way.
We're starting off with a little canola oil. This is just a light, basically a light salad oil. Okay. And then a little bit of brown sugar.
You can kind of wing it when you're making something like this, right?
Cooking is freedom, so you want to go and have fun, and play around. do some different things and see how everything comes out.
What are the most important parts to have? You've got oil and you've got sugar and spices.
Well, this is going to be a marinade, so I'm starting off with my oil. Oil is important because the marinade's going to sit for a while, against the meat or the poultry, and you don't want it to get too, you don't want to dry it out, so the oil kind of protects it.
So what's the difference between a marinade and a sauce, and what differences do you want to make sure you do when you make those?
Right. Well, the marinade, as it says, is going to sit over the meat or the chicken or the poultry for a couple hours, even up to a couple days in some cases. So it's going to be lighter. It's going to be a real simpler basic flavors, maybe a little saltier. Now, when you get to the sauces are a lot more fun. You can really go wild with those. You want to be careful though, is when you put the items on the grill, you're going to put them on the last minute. Especially if it's a barbecue sauce, it's real sweet because sugars will burn, against the on the grill real quickly.
So something could go on the grill wet when you first start cooking, still wet with marinade, but with a sauce, because there tends to be more sugar in those, that's like an add in the last 5 minutes kind of thing.
Brush at the end, or in the case we do at the restaurants, we leave our sauces right to the last and it's served right at the table so people can put it on or accompany it as I like.
Now, I got so busy listening to you. Did you throw any of these other things in there? What else did you throw in there?
These are just some different spices out there that you could add to your sauces, your marinades. This is pomegranate molasses here, which makes a great brushed finish to the to any grilled item.
I would assume at import stores, that's where I would find that stuff.
Stores, yep. Mustard, which we often use to start.
There you go. I have that. Everybody has that.
Makes a great base for your barbecue sauce, as does ketchup. A lot of great barbecue sauces are based on those. Chili sauce, everybody's favorite.
Ooh, that's some good stuff. That's sweet. It's hot. It's garlic. Chef, we're out of time. Right. He's going to be sticking around, though. Stay tuned, because in the next half hour, we've given you this sauce, which is on the website, by the way, fox35wofl.com. Coming up next, steaks. He's going to, if you're worried about, that's a lot of money. You don't want to mess it up. He's going to help us.
Okay, John, thank you. And coming up on Good.
Why don't come over?
If you're grilling, I'll stop by.
And I may be grilling later this weekend, but it's going to be early in the day, John, because we may see a little rain, and you've picked a perfect time at 8:30 in the morning.
I told you got to suffer for your art. If you're going to be grilling out, somebody is going to be the designated wet guy. I mean, there's lids on most grills. You go out, you cook, you run back into the dry part. This is Chef Darryl Mickler, nice and dry today. We've got a photograph of one of the restaurants he's in charge of out at Disney's Polynesian Resort. How big is that grill?
18 feet.
18 feet. Man, now do you use wood in that grill or you got gas?
All wood.
Today we're cooking with gas. A lot of folks are cooking with gas. You don't mind too much, do you? I know you want to cook with the charcoal and the hardwood and stuff like that.
We would like the charcoal, but you get a nice clean flame with gas, so it's an okay substitute.
And it's easier.
Now
you brought some steaks here. Grab right here, right there. The snake stuck up behind me. Now a lot of folks are going to be cooking steaks. Those are some big steaks. What kind of steaks would you recommend for grilling?
Well, effective grilling and a really good meal starts off with getting great ingredients. So you start off with a rib steak, a T-bone, a porterhouse, a New York strip, some of the fillets. All of those are great steaks.
I might be tempted. I see something on sale. There's some steaks out there you said I probably shouldn't buy, like skirt steak. I guess that's good for fajitas, but not so good for grilling.
Yep, good for fajitas, and you want to stay away from the 7-blade steaks and things along those lines. They're cheaper, but you really can't cook them long enough on a grill to really let them tenderize and really get a lot of great flavor out of them.
Well, now that you convinced me to drop a lot of dough on a nice cut of steak, what do I do to guarantee I don't mess it up and waste that money?
Well, first, treat it right. Keep it nice and cold. Until you're near ready to grill.
Season. Let me get out of the way here.
Yep.
Season
Obviously,
it.
we've gotten a nice, thick cut steak, so you can put it on the grill. You can bring it up to medium, rare, medium rare, however you want to bring it up to, without danger of overcooking. If you have one of these minuscule, little quarter-inch thick steaks, it's going to cook by the time you think about cooking it.
Gotcha.
You start off here with a nice rub of kosher salt and fresh ground black pepper.
I can salt the meat before I cook it. I'd always heard I shouldn't do that.
Well, we use kosher salt, so it's salt that stays right on top of the meat. It doesn't just dissolve directly into it like iodized salt would. You'll get the same effect from sea salt, which is also great. And then think about do you want to do a spice rub? Rubs are real popular on meats like this. Start off with salt and pepper, and then maybe paprika, turmeric, even some Asian spices if you want to go the Asian route, which we do at our restaurants. Sure. 5-spice powder.
We got about a minute left. Grab one of those steaks and throw that baby on the grill. How long do I want to be grilling it for? And you were saying medium a second ago. Everybody worries about E. coli. You said I have to worry about that a little less. Now I'm not a lawyer or anything, but I have to worry about that, or a doctor, or a chef. We have to worry about that a little less with steaks compared to hamburgers.
Right, because hamburger meat is ground, so everything's kind of been worked into it, especially if it's been processed. Steaks coming from the middle, tend to be safer, so we can cook them to lower temperatures. Starting at 130 on the rare side, and moving up if you like it more done. I like it rare, so.
So just down once and over once, or do you want to be like flipping and going crazy?
Again, you got to stay away from that grill fork. People get out there.
Don't stick the big chef fork in there.
No forks, because you're stabbing it and piercing it and all that. All the meat juices run out. It starts to get tough. It gets real dry. Use tongs on it. Move around, but put it down. Put it down once. If you want to get nice grill marks on it, move it one time at about a quarter turn, and if you want that nice crosshatch, if your grill's nice and nice and preheated, and then cook it 5-8 minutes aside. I mean, these will take forever, because they're nice thick steaks.
Well, hey, we only got about 25 minutes to the end of the show. I think we can get something ready for them to eat back there at the studio.
Well, we've got a little bit of stuff ready.
All right, we'll get on it. I'll see you guys at the end of the show. I can throw a rock and hit you guys from where I am in the backyard here at the station.
You just made lots of friends here, too, mentioning bringing some steaks to us. John, thank you very much. They're mine, Doug. Stay away. All right, the time.
We'll be here on Labor Day. Have all the day's news for you.
John Graham has made a lot of friends today. He's been outside with the chef, and they.
There you go. We had a hawk watching us outside, so I had to bring this stuff
Very
inside.
nice. Thank you, Chef Darryl.
Yeah, thanks to Chef Darryl Mickler from the Disney's Polynesian Resort, and I hope everybody's barbecues turn out as well as that one this weekend.
Excellent.
I hope so
Thank you,
too.
sir.
My gosh.
This is just my size.
Yeah, no
I'll
kidding.
take this. Meantime,
Can I
have a
grab
good
that?
holiday, everybody.
Go nuts.
Bye, everybody.
Dive in.
All right. Thank you, John. Sure appreciate that.